I wanted to talk today about this important concept called Moksh or Nirvana in the Indian philosophical school of thought, either in Buddhism or in the Vedantic school of thought. There is an idea called Moksh, or there's an idea called Nirvana, where you achieve such a state where you're not pulled by your likes and dislikes, and you're able to break your attachments so that you don't feel sorrow anymore. And sorrow basically comes to an end, because most of the sorrow we feel in this world is from our unfulfilled desires, or rather than saying our unfulfilled desires, of our feeling of being unfulfilled. And because we feel unfulfilled, there are a lot of things that we do that cause us to be in bondage, and we notice that. So when our rishis notice that there is certain work that is causing you to live in bondage, they gave you a prescription of how to live such a life that you could untie all these knots. So, somewhere down the line, we thought that the goal of life is moksha. Now, if a goal means an end point rather than a movement, then I do not believe that what we call as moksha is the goal of our life. What we call as moksha or nirvana is the basis of living a life worth living. There is this concept called dvija, or the second born, which is really considered to be your real birth. Now, I'll say why we must consider moksha as the basis of life, or the foundation of a life, as an end, or as opposed to an end goal. For life to be really worth living, we need to live intelligently. We need to live in such a manner where our desires don't have us. We may have desires, but our desires don't have us. Most of the suffering that's there in our lives is because our fears and our desires have us rather than us having them. Because our fears and desires have us, the quality of our life keeps going down and down and down, no matter what level of material existence we are at, whether we are poor, middle class, or rich. If our desires and fears have us, then life doesn't become worth living. So, the point of being free or liberated, or as we would say in Sanskrit, mukt, is to live in such a way that you don't do things that bind you. You don't act in such a way that your knots become deeper and stronger. You act in such a way that you always remain a free person. So I'll quote an example. When Gautam Buddha achieved full enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, he didn't decide to give up his body that day and leave the earth. He decided to preach to people so that they could lead a liberated life. So, what I'm trying to tell you is, don't think of liberation as an end goal that is achieved only towards the end of your life, because what you practice becomes stronger. So if you practice being worldly completely, being lost in materialism, liberating yourself from that is going to be much harder. Let's say we talk about liberation or nirvana as having a healthy body, and right now you're overweight. Your goal is to keep shedding weight till you reach that ideal body weight and you maintain it at that, right? If you think that having a healthy body is an end goal, you'll keep postponing it, and your youth is really wasted without feeling strong, without feeling vital. So do not think that liberation or moksha is some end goal that is pursued when you reach your 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? You want strength, vitality, and vigor when you are in your youth. You need fire in your eyes, so to speak, right? Metaphorically, of course. And to have that kind of vigor requires you to be a liberated person. A bound person cannot have that kind of life energy or vigor or spirit. So keep in mind, liberation is not your goal, it is the basis of having a life that is worth living. So please do reach liberation at the earliest possible.